Islam is titled really the Lost Found Nation of Islam of Asia, which means we are an extension of the family of Muslims around the world, actually, but we are the ones that have been lost away from the knowledge of who we are due to the slave trade, So we are the 22 million, or should I say 40 million now, black folks here in North America. When we was taken from our homes over in the motherland, and everything and brought here to the shores of America, we became lost, to the cultural teachings of the Caucasians, be it England, Spain, Portuguese, and what have you. But that's really what the Nation of Islam is. And Islam is really an Arabic word that means entire submission through the will of God. And anyone that practices that is referred to as a Muslim. So it's just terminology as far as Arabic to English or what have you. But, that's really what the Nation of Islam is about in North America.
What's the purpose?
Well, the purpose was set up was to find us. Like, you hear parables in the Bible where Jesus said, if I had 100 sheep and I lost one, I would leave the 99, go after the one, and I would be more glorified in the one because it was once lost but now found. So, that's the purpose, was to find us and to restore us and teach us the knowledge of ourselves and put us back on the course and put us in a revolutionary position as far as like being the cornerstone of the new kingdom of heaven that God is going to usher in. So in other words, he wanted to take those that was at the bottom and elevate them to the top to show his power and his majesty. As you read in the book of Exodus, it says that God rose up Pharaoh to be a mighty enemy so he could show forth that he was God, by taking on a powerful enemy. And it's the same thing here in America, taking on America is the biggest, most powerful superpower in the world right now. And we are at the bottom of that. So to show forth his power, he's going to take those in the valley and elevate them onto the mountaintop. Take those in the mountain and put them into the valley.
How successful has the Nation of Islam been? Have they been successful?
Oh yes, sure, without a doubt, I would have to say. And the thing about the Nation of Islam is the success is somewhat sublime. Like in certain ways it's very popular when you think of Malcolm X or what have you. But in a lot of ways it's kind of sublime as far as the effect is concerned. Like for instance, like, you meet a lot of people nowadays that say they don't eat swine or pork, and that's really, really due to the work that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad did, or did in the 30s, I would say. Another example would be like the names. You hear a lot of people with more righteous or cultural names, be it Arabic or African, or even those that made up names to try to form some type of identity outside of European names. Like, made up names like Shaquita and Takesha. I think that came about in the 60s when we had the Black Cultural Revolution and people were trying to identify themselves outside of European thought. And I think that was a direct result from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad giving holy names out in the 1930s. That's the fact, but a lot of people don't attribute it to him or think that, but I really feel strongly that that's the origin of that.
Now, what led you to becoming a member, or trying to become a member of the Nation of Islam? Why did you join
it just it appeals to everything about my being. When I say that, I mean as far as like my common sense, like when I hear the teachings, a lot of things like trigger in my mind as far as truth. I like the intellectual aspect of it. And I love the fact that it gives you discipline and it pushes you to be a better person. Of course, in the militancy, like it makes you a stronger person to stand up for freedom or for what's good. In an evil world like this, you definitely gotta have some type of strength and backbone. I like that aspect of it, and just the fact that it dealt totally with the upliftment of our people. I found that in the Nation of Islam because as a youth I always had discrimination towards our people suffering from the youth. So when I met Islam, like, it totally appealed to me, you know, as far as lifting us up as a people. You know, even when I read Bible stories, I always wondered, like, when was God gonna come and help us out of our condition and situation? So that's what really led me, and you know, I gotta give it up to hip hop. You know, the conscious era of hip hop really pushed me into that direction and opened me up to that. You know, Public Enemy, KRS, Poor Righteous Teachers, X-Clan, Grand Nubian, all of that. You know, and some, but that's how I got on that journey. About scripture, you know, scripture was written from that time to the end of time. So that means whatever it is that we're going through today, it was already written, prophesied to come. Like, as a matter of fact, that's why it's there for it, to be a guideline to show you the course you want in this day and time. So when you do a cross-examination or a careful study, comparative study of the history we're making now and compare it to the scripture, be it Bible or Quran or Torah, what have you, like, you know, you can see yourself in it, you know, perfectly, like, mirroring it. So as I see us fulfilling it, scripture by scripture, you know, I can tell, that we're on a course of success. You know what I mean? Even though the odds are enormous, you know what I mean, as far as against us, but the strides that we have made are a miracle within themselves. So that gives you an inkling of hope, you know, that we're going to overcome the situation that we're presently in. You know, especially the Millions More movement.
What do you think about black people? I mean, the state that they're in? I mean, what's your overall impression? What do you think about it? What do you think it's going to take, to get them up, get them moving in the right direction? Are they moving in the right direction already? I don't know. Tell me. I mean, what do you see out there?
I mean, it's kind of like a twofold answer, like, and I think we definitely have moved forward since the turn of this century. You know what I mean, as far as the condition and where we thought back then. But you know, in some terms or ways that we have worsened, you know, as far as the condition that we in as a people. But at the same time, that tied back into the question you just asked. Like, the Holy Quran says that in the day and the night, there's a sign for you if you are mindful. And what you see, the darkest hour of the night, like when it becomes the most darkest, right after that period, the dawn comes, or the sun, you know. And I believe that's what we're dealing with at this stage in time, is that we at our darkest hour. But if you can hold on and make it through there, rest assured that the sun is going to rise next day. So I believe we have a glorious future ahead of us, you know what I mean, as far as our present situation. It just all depends on how we approach it.
What do black people need to do? If anything, to rise above this condition, and get us something what do you think they need to do?
Well, definitely, like the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that our unity will overcome all. You know, not even nuclear weapons or things of that nature or militias. Just our unity within itself will change our condition ultimately. And those that's in power or positions of power that oppress us, that's what they're most afraid of. They're most afraid of us uniting. Because when you think about it, we have people in every field in America, you know, be it scientific, entertainment, corporate, you know what I mean, militarily, we're at the top in it, but it's just that we never connect the dots. So whenever we achieve something at such a high level, it's always just an individual accomplishment because we never think in terms of the whole. You know, and I heard a statement on the radio this morning where my sister said that we should practice on being good ancestors. You know what I mean? I thought that was so profound. You know, the statement within itself is like a pregnant statement, you know, meaning that we should always think of moving the next generation forward and being an example for them. But too often we only think of ourselves and our immediate situation. And I think that's where we're going wrong. But outside of that, we are mighty people. Because when you look at all the leaders that came out of Black America, it's phenomenal. You know, when you compare them to other leaders throughout the world, be it Malcolm X, the Messenger, Muhammad Ali, you know, of course, Minister Farrakhan, Ivan Van Sertima, you know, all of these different scholars we have are, you know, enormous in scope, you know, but it's just like I said, we haven't connected the dots yet.
What is the worst enemy of black people? In terms of, I mean, is it the drugs? Is it the gangs? Is it ignorance? Is it, what is it? What's holding these people back? I mean, really, I mean, of all the things, I mean, happening now in the black community, what's the worst one to you that we really need to, I mean, get a control of?
I think our worst enemy, I would say, is ignorance. Ignorance combined with self-hatred. I think those two of our biggest enemies, in the sense that, you know, when you only go or live life accordingly to what you come to know. You know what I mean? What you experience in life is how you basically live your life. And in America, we are so limited, cut off from our own selves. You know, like everything we learn is always from the standpoint of another people. You know, like Europeans control our educational system. They control our media. They control television, radio. You know, so everything that we learn is always from the perspective of a person foreign to us. You know, which leads to our self-hatred and our ignorance. Like, we never go to our true identity to know who we are, so we can act out who we really are. You know, it's 6 words that Master Fard Muhammad left the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and that was, accept your own, be yourself. You know, once we open up our minds to who we really are, then our minds kind of force us to act better when we know who we truly are. You know, and overcome the self-hatred. You know, because we don't think too much of each other, and that's our problem, and that's why the dots never connect, because we never see past, you know, us just being niggas, basically.
What's the future of the Nation of Islam? In your future, I mean, what's the future of the Nation of Islam? What do you think? I mean, what do you think?
I think the Nation of Islam is on a glorious path, man, to victory and freedom. You know, and the reason why I say that is the Millions More movement, you know, that Minister Farrakhan has sparked off. For the first time in our history as black folks, we can say that we are beginning to come together and connect the dots. You know, in Washington, D.C., where we had the gathering, that's the first time we had every spectrum of black thought there together. You know, be it civil rights organizations, nationalist organizations, Muslim, Christian, Hebrew organization. You know, everyone represented a different field of thought, and we came together for a common cause. You know, not that I'm right and you're wrong, but that we all need to work together to advance this forward. And, you know, as far as you can think back, be it, you know, Booker T. Washington or Frederick Douglass or Marcus Garvey and W.E.B. Du Bois, like, we never really could come together. This is the first time that has happened, you know, in the history of us being here in America. And that's a powerful thing within itself. You know, so much so that the powers that be, naming, you know, George Bush, tried to intervene himself personally to stop it. You know, which shows that it must be something powerful on track, you know, if they step in themselves personally. So, I mean, our future is looking great right now.
Brother, do we have any closing thoughts?
not a Muslim thing. You know, it's not a religious thing. You could be an atheist and join the Millions More movement. All that we're asking is wherever you are in your life, use whatever talents that you have to push our people forward. Whatever it may be, whether it's academia, entertainment, or what have you, scholarship, you know, wherever you at, use that to catapult our people forward where we supposed to be. And let's get together and work together, and we'll see a mighty, mighty change in us as a people.